So Tarkov has two things, right? There's the things that make Tarkov great and the things that make Tarkov AIDS. And what I can say is that it had all of the things that were great and less of the things that were AIDS.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talk about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jessica Sam.
And I'm gonna object. On the grounds of time travel.
Time travel?
Yeah, I was just showing my new favorite clip, which is like this lieutenant who was a lieutenant for 27 years. He completely just stepped all over the Constitution by arresting this woman who was just filming outside of a courthouse. Totally violated all of her rights and whatever. And then one of the questions he was asked in the deposition, because she sued, the lawyer was like, if you could go back in time, would you do it differently? Would you not have arrested her or whatever? And he's like, you're asking me if I can time travel? And he's like, no.
Yeah, that's the question, idiot. Can you time travel?
And it goes back and forth 3 or 4 times. And he goes to the lawyer again, or the lawyer's like, are you trying to be funny? And he's like, no, you're asking me about hypothetical time travel. And then he looks, he's like, what the and then the other lawyer representing the cop is like, objection. What? You're asking him if he can time travel? The other lawyer doubles down and is like, is this what we're talking about now? Hypothetical time travel? And he's like, is that really what you think I'm asking? It's the funniest thing ever.
That's so great. Because at first I was gonna say, do you ever wonder what it's like to live in that world, like to just be so detached from reality that you can be that confident? And then that the lawyer doubled down is funny. I have this thought that the lawyer, it's like a lawyer representing Billy Mitchell where he knows my client is insane, but do you think there was a moment where the lawyer was like, I know that this isn't the question being asked, but he's so confident, and if I just match the confidence, maybe we can get out of this question? Do you think he was like,
nope?
God, no, you
can tell. You can tell. He's like, the lawyer was disappointed in the other lawyer. That's really what we're asking now. Questions about hypothetical time travel.
Oh my God. Damn.
So that's
phenomenal.
That's my new favorite.
Objection.
Not badgering the witness, or not leading, or
objection. I can't
hearsay.
Time travel.
Objection. Hypothetical time travel. Come on now, Judge. We know this isn't. Not this again. Not the DeLorean defense.
Oh my gosh, the DeLorean. That's the strategy.
Not the double D.
The DeLorean.
The good old double D.
Oh man, what's up, dude? You all rested up back home from the TwitchCon?
No, I'm not.
No, yeah, dude.
I'm not. I went to the gym for the first time in 150 years.
Yeah,
yesterday.
What's that like?
So I mean, I'm a shattered shell of a man. Having to try to vaguely remember what I was lifting in college, looking at the rack and picking up the weights and then going, yeah, no, I'm gonna put them down, go down the rack. Nope,
still
too much.
No, still no.
Have a chick half my size walk over, grab the ones I just put down, and start
dude,
do one lap around the little mini the mini
track
at the mini track, and I wasn't even winded. I just stopped, bent over, grabbed my thing, and all of a sudden it was my ears are ringing, and I'm I'm gonna pass out, holding on to everything. I'm just so out of shape. Holy.
I miss it. I miss working out, dude. I was Eric, who was there, is the homie I used to work out with all the time, and we were in a groove, man, and I loved it. I miss working out. We were in such a groove for such a long time, and then it was my son was gonna be born, and I was like, I'm gonna take 3-4 weeks off, and then we'll get back and hit it. That was the last. I have not worked out since that day. He's almost 6.
Yeah, it's actually been longer than that for me. Yeah.
I miss it though.
mean, I used to be, you had motivation in college when it was
Yeah.
like, I used to practice with the girls' beach volleyball team on weekends. They'd go and they go to
Oh,
the beach
damn.
court, and I would just like help them practice. I mean, like I never really wasn't really a volleyball player. I was good enough to
Yeah.
play with them,
Yeah.
during practice, but that's motivation to stay in shape
Hanging out with the girls' beach volleyball team.
when you're playing beach volleyball shirtless with, like,
That
yeah.
is plenty of motivation. Yeah.
But yeah,
Damn.
not since then. So,
Damn.
but yeah, me and the wife had a little bit of a talk the other day, and I was like, yo, we'll just be so much like happier, healthier, like
Yeah.
if we both just get a little bit more active,
For sure.
Eat a little bit healthier on the regular more often,
Yeah. For sure.
So
I feel that. We'll enjoy that soreness for the next few days.
tomorrow is when it's gonna hit me.
Yep. That'll be brutal.
So now the big question is whether or not I'll make it to day 2, like exercise day 2.
Mhm.
Is really the big question. Is if we end up going on like Sunday or whatever, then because there's going to be a lot of me saying, don't go, don't just quit,
Oh,
just quit,
yeah.
dog, just quit.
Oh, yeah.
Like it, because I don't like working out. My wife likes working out afterwards. She's like, I feel good, I have all this energy,
Yeah.
like whatever, and I don't know how. Like when I go, I know this is like funny for me to say because I'm like, not exactly like, built or anything like that. But like when I go to the gym and work out, I give it 110%.
Yeah.
I'm like lifting to failure. Like,
Mhm.
so I have nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I'm like, like
Yep.
walking to my car and my wife's like, let's go. And I'm like,
you want to go out?
don't
You want to
know
go
if-
do something? You're like,
I don't know
no.
if she's just built different or
Yeah.
if, I don't know, man.
Yep. Dude, working out in like the afternoon is so much more inconvenient, but so much more fun. The workout is so much more fun. Working out in the morning, it's just like, I am not a morning person. I am the exact opposite of a morning person. I hate being awake early in the morning. And so like I would work out when I came home from work for like a short period of time. And it was just like you could lift 20% more, 20% heavier just by changing the time of day because like you're just like so much more awake, but it's just so much more inconvenient to work out like in the middle of the day or at night. Some weirdos that work out at like 11.
No, see, I like that because like I want to work out and then pass out. If I, my
Yeah,
wife is
true.
like, we're going 5 a.m. I've got to go before work, and I'm like,
Oh no, dude.
I went to bed at 2, and it's by 7 a.m. I will want to go back to bed. I'm like, you can't.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna have to big dick it through this.
That's brutal.
Just man up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna die before I hit 50.
The Doritos and Hot Pocket diet will only take you so far.
Oh my god. Well, now I'm on the Geeks diet.
Dude, do you have one?
This piece of
Oh, it's so good.
got me into this. We were literally talking at TwitchCon.
So good.
I've always been like, Starbucks is just bad coffee. Like it's just never been good coffee. He's like, dude, I agree, except there's this one thing I get that's bomb, and it's like quad espresso in a venti cup with the quad shot or with like white mocha
and the cold foam.
Cold foam. You know what I have to do though? This is just straight up admission, shameless admission. I pull out my phone. I still don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I asked him to like type it up in Discord, and I order it as if I'm like getting it for my wife or something. Because
she
I
wants,
can't with a.
She
Yeah, like,
said
what the
quad
fuck is
shot.
this? She said an venti cup, like, and I've literally just like
That's
something
so
about cold foam. I don't
genius.
know.
That's something I would do 100%.
I'm so ashamed.
100%. Dude, it's so easy. It's so easy because if you're like, she said she wanted, that's all you have to say. Well, one little, and they're like, I get it. Like, I'll help you work through this. Oh my God, that's so great.
Turn around, look at the guy behind you, like, yeah, it's fucking venti. Oh,
That's so great, dude. It's so good though. It's so good. He
It's
put
so
that
good.
he put that in the screen in the Discord. I screenshotted it and saved it to my favorites because I didn't want to forget it because the drink is so good.
Yeah, and I was at Starbucks, like, geeks, what's the thing? Because I couldn't remember what it was, and I'm like panicking. So the first time I had my phone out reading it, and I'm like, yo, I feel just by doing this and reading it out, it takes all of the blame
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not my order.
Yep. Dude, oh, that's so freaking funny because I hadn't thought about that, but that's totally something I would do. Oh my God, that's so funny. I want one right now. I can't, but like, I've been waiting. I'm excited for the weekend. I already told my wife, I was like, we're going to Starbucks and I'm getting this crazy drink. Oh, speaking of TwitchCon, dude, it was a good time. It was good time. Vegas
I
was
mean, dude,
wild.
it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. Got to shoot a bunch of guns with BSG. Got to ride in a tank. You got to shoot a minigun.
I gotta hit up Airwing Marine
Yeah.
to get the full speed video of me on the minigun.
I think he sent me like a Google Drive, like where he just uploaded all of it. I'll get it to you. But yeah, dude,
Oh, really? Oh,
so much fun. It was so cool. And obviously, the big thing, the big deal at TwitchCon was Arena being there. Well, I mean, the whole thing was crazy. Battlestate Games, like, dude, they came ready. They sponsored the partner party. They sponsored the big Twitch other party that you had to like pay extra. They like hooked us up, getting a bunch of people like into that party. Freaking Nikita DJ'd for 2 hours or for an hour in the party. And then also they had this like ginormous arena booth, which was just like, I don't know. It was sick. It was pretty surreal being able to like get to meet Nikita after all this time. You know what I mean? And meet you longer than me. You've talked to him so much more than I have.
yeah. We went into more detail on this on the PP, the Patreon podcast pod Patreon.
Patreon.com/podcast pod.
But I do want to bring I do just want to mention it quickly for the larger audience because I think it's like important for context. So we basically talked about how the moment I was face to face, eye to eye with the developers, you know, Nikita, Dimitri, all these guys, how I instantly felt like a bag. I instantly was reminded in very much the same way that I want other people to be reminded.
Yeah.
Who engage with us.
Yep.
That these people are just human beings.
Yeah.
And like, that's not to say that my criticisms haven't been valid.
Yeah.
But that I acknowledge and admit that I do actually feel a little bit bad about maybe how I worded some of my criticisms, you know, like because it's easy to say like because the game is dog. But would I want to look a man in the eye and be like, your work is dog? No. You know, and so I legitimately feel bad. And I mean, I don't think like a couple of them were giving me a little bit of a hard time. They were joking because you know, we played Arena and I was like, yo, man, it feels good. And he's like, yeah, you're going to go back and talk about it on the podcast. And I was like,
God damn it. No, I mean, yeah, like I said, we talked about it at length on the PP, but like, yeah, I mean, it's like, I felt it too, for sure. You know what I mean? I felt it too, especially recently, bro. Like past few weeks on stream, I've just been like, the fuse has been shorter and shorter. And it's like, part of that's for sure my fault. Cause it's like, you know, you know, a la the quintessential Twitch chatter. It's like, hey, you don't have to play it if you're not having fun. Like, don't let it get to you. But yeah, for sure. It's like, it's a humbling experience. It's I think what you just said was good. It's like in the same way we want other people to just be reminded of that. I'm not above that too. I also want to be reminded sometimes of like, God damn it. I like, these are real people. They're doing a thing. And exactly like you said, it doesn't mean like the core piece of everything I've criticized of BSG or of Escape from Tarkov. You know, I still stand behind like, man, maybe I feel this could be different or whatever, but it's like, yeah, maybe maybe I get a little carried away.
Yeah, and now that I
Ah!
think about it, like Tower just said the screen dehumanizes us very quickly, and I realized like there's probably a subconscious thing where it's like you see Nikita on a podcast, or if I'm
Yeah,
on a podcast with Nikita, I'll say my criticism differently than if I haven't talked to any of the
for
developers
sure.
in 8 months and they're not on screen, and because it's like it's the developers
Yeah,
over there working on the game.
yeah,
It's not like person A, person B, person. It's not Joe, Steve, Fred.
yeah, exactly.
The moment it's Joe, Steve, Fred, you're like, and they're like, hey man,
Yeah,
you're suddenly like,
yeah.
So that's even us, the people who constantly talk about how we wish people were more empathetic
Mhm.
to us online. Even we are not,
Yeah, not
you know,
above it.
perfect.
We're not perfect, and I'm like willing to accept that. Like, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, okay, maybe I need to, X, Y, or Z, rein it in or whatever. But it really was like surreal and just really cool meeting everybody, and you know what I
Dude, they
mean?
were. It was incredible, dude. Like meeting everybody was super cool. Everybody was super chill, and the little like VIP party
Yep.
thing that we all did, like I'm just so that okay. So playing arena, doing that party, and having BSG like giving back to
Yeah.
a bunch of mid-tier Tarkov streamers,
Yeah.
like not even the
Yeah.
big names, like it was just a bunch of nobodies, in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
And they've spent thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars to feed us free drinks, shooting miniguns, driving tanks over cars.
Yep.
It was just like they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to do that, and like you can't even spin it. Like BSG wasn't like tweeting about it or live streaming it, for clout. They didn't mention it. All the videos that came out on Twitter were like us filming. They didn't do it exclusively for the like 10,000 plus Tarkov streamers. There were tons of small mid-sized creators there. I know some people that are in other kind of indie-ish game communities that have a very different experience. Like, if there would be anyone who wouldn't be invited, right? It's me and Veritas. Like, every week they invite both. They're treating us exactly the same. Like, Geeks was there and he hasn't played Tarkov in a year, but they recognized that he was such a core part of the community. They were like, dude, if you're here at TwitchCon, we want you here at this party. Like, it's just, you can't spin that in a negative way. I was constantly thinking about that. I was like, this is just insane. They're just literally like, yo, we're here. We're in America. We never get to be here. We want to just show some love to the community. It was so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that coupled with playing arena, I am almost definitely going to be playing Tarkov again within the next couple of weeks. um, it reignited the spark a little bit. And I'm hoping that there's a part of me that's like my mental health has just been so much better since I've been out of Tarkov land.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to figure out if I feel better now with the question is, if I go back into it, am I better and things will be better and different?
Yeah.
Or is it just an abusive relationship? And you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see.
It's a great.
I might not play it for a ton of time.
Yeah.
And then also couple that as well with something I can't even really talk about yet. I don't know if I mentioned it to you or not.
I don't
I
think
might
so.
have.
Send it to me
Oh.
telepathically.
I don't know if I did. I gotta look. I mentioned it to somebody. No, I didn't. I'm gonna screenshot you
Okay.
a part of an email, and we'll get your reaction live on stream, but nobody else will get to know. Basically,
Oh, wait.
Oh, I think I did. I
think
did
we
tell
did.
you
Yeah.
before.
Okay. I was searching the brain. Yes. Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Yeah. So I got to figure out like they want to know how much, and I'm like, I'll do it for free, but
But you know, my
so there might be something I might be doing maybe in December that I until the paperwork's signed and NDAs are signed and I figure out what I can and can't say. It's something that I am horrified about. It's stressing me the out. I'm super, super nervous. If I were to say no, I would regret it forever.
I can't believe they convinced you to join Fee Finder, man. That's wild. You
What the is that? What is it?
know what Feed Finder is?
Feed Finder? No, I have no idea what that is.
Feet Finder.
Feet Finder?
Yeah, it's like OnlyFans, but like exclusively for feet. You want to find some good looking feet, bruv? Don't Google it.
Yeah, well, people pay. I mean, I would join this. I would. Nobody wants to see my feet. If you want to pay me, by all means. No. I'm not. I didn't get hired by BSG. Nothing like that, chat. No.
Anyways, OnlyFans, but for feet. So OnlyFans, yeah, I guess. Now, all that being said, because you played Arena on Sunday, I'm pretty sure.
I played Arena twice. I played 2 Arena games.
And I think they were both on Sunday, right?
No, one was
really?
Saturday and
Okay.
one was Sunday.
Well, I didn't talk to you about it. What did you think of Arena?
So there's a few caveats. I haven't played an FPS, let alone Tarkov, in 6 months.
That's true. And that's important.
I'm on a janky little awkward setup with like just a LAN setup that is just on like a stool with like a tiny mouse pad, and everything's wired, and the audio, you couldn't, like, whether the audio is good or not, couldn't tell you. It's so loud.
Because the convention floor was so loud.
I was gonna break the volume switch because I just couldn't turn up any louder. And then all the keybinds, I don't know any of the keybinds, the default keybinds. I had to ask like people who were like,
how do you turn to full auto?
People were like, hey, can I have an autograph? You're the Tarkov OG. And I'm like, yeah, cool. How do you change the scope settings? Like, so there was a lot going against.
Yeah.
But I will say that what it felt like was, so Tarkov has 2 things, right? There's the things that make Tarkov great and the things that make Tarkov AIDS. And what I can say is that it had all of the things that were great and less of the things that were AIDS. It didn't feel better than the Tarkov I remember.
Yeah.
But honestly, being able to just get in and play, like, I definitely will, like, main Arena probably. Like, I don't even know that I'll play the normal Tarkov after that. It's just less like investment, less like, I don't have to, how far am I going to get this wipe? It's like, nah, dude, I just run games until I feel like playing a different game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very much so. I hadn't thought about that, but it's very much so that, like, you could have 2 main games for a wipe. Where you're like, I play Arena, almost every day because it's like it scratches that fun FPS itch, and then I hop off 3 hours, I go play Red Dead. With Tarkov, after like a wipe, it doesn't really feel like you can do that. It's like, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna try and get Kappa, or I'm gonna try and get Max Traders.
If you're not, you're missing out on more progression time if you're playing anything else.
Yeah. So like, I hadn't thought about that, but like, it's a great game to like have multiple games on the go, because you could just hop in, scratch that itch, get some really good raids, maybe play some ranked, try and up your rank a little bit, hop up, play another game.
Now, I will say, so the first one I played, so it's 1st to 7.
Yep. 5v5. When
5v5.
all the other team is dead, you get one, you win that round, and it's the 1st to 7 rounds wins the match.
Yep. And then there's also an element where after a certain period of time, there's like a point on the map that you can stand inside and like capture.
Yeah.
And then you win. So like, it's either like deathmatch, you die, or if you've waited too long, you can't find them or whatever, you go to this area, stand there for, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds, whatever it is. And if you can like hold it down or not die, then you win. There were some things that were specific to like that event and arena that aren't
Yeah.
going to be in the final game. There are some things I'm not sure about that I didn't like at all. The first game, one of the BSG guys came over and was like showing me a couple of the things, and at some point like they just like selected my kit.
Oh,
So like I didn't get to choose my kit. It wasn't bad. It was an MDR with a EOTech, but I wouldn't have picked that.
yeah.
And you can't
Change. Yeah.
at least there you can't change it. So I was stuck for the like 14 or 15 rounds playing with a kit that I didn't choose.
I really hope that was one of the most common criticisms of the whole thing I heard was I wish I could switch kits in between. And if they don't want people switching kits too frequently, you could balance it by just making it like you have to repurchase a kit. You know what I mean? Because you like in the beginning you have to buy a kit, it costs money. And it's like you can just keep ripping this for the rest of the round for free. If between rounds, if you would like to purchase another kit, you can do that. I think I think that's needed as well. So that you can like kind of react to how the other team is playing. If they're all picked snipers and you didn't realize it and you have an MP7 and you're like, I'm not going to get close to any of these guys. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So the first game we won was like 7-5, I think. I went like 12-6, which I was like really happy about. Like,
yeah.
you know, I thought I was just gonna go negative, being been away for so long.
Yeah.
So that was good. I didn't experience any weird net code or anything like that. I will say the map design. I'm from the one map. It was the one with like the plane,
Okay.
the terminal or whatever the like mini one. I don't know if anybody played different maps or not. If it was just one for everyone.
No, it was they had 3. I played the woods map.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess like both times I just ended up playing the same map.
Okay.
That map at least I was impressed with the map design because it's two different kinds of map design, and I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
But like BSG is good about making like realistic, immersive environments.
Yes.
But I basically said like we'll see how good they are about competitive shooter.
Yeah, competitive shooting map design is completely different.
Because it's all about angles and timing, and all of that matters, right? That's what sets apart like CS:GO and Valorant. Like their map design is, for the most part, incredibly good.
Yeah.
Because that's the entire game, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
If you know the maps aren't like symmetrical time wise, and people could just run up to like this perfect spot and get there, and then just hold the angle. Then you never want to spawn on that side.
Which feels very Tarkov. Like I was concerned about that too, because like right now, if you're on Shoreline, you get God spawn. You just get to the resort first. It doesn't matter your skill. It doesn't matter the gear you brought. It's like you get there first. And so yeah.
But yeah, overall that one map is really good. And then the only other thing worth mentioning is that the second time I played, we went 7-0, and one of my teammates was a lady actively breastfeeding.
Damn.
She was kind of crazy. She was like talking to herself. She wasn't good.
I was about to say, what if she went like 19-0? Just like
no,
crap.
It was literally like it was like 3 of us on the team that like just owned. One dude was, every time I died, I was specking him, and he had like the ER 700 or something, and he was just no scoping people with a bolty, like, and he was top fragging. I'm like, dog, let me get your autograph. Like, what the? I don't even think he knew who I was.
Yeah.
But I just remember looking down, seeing a tit and a little baby hanging, and I was just like,
hell yeah.
No longer looking past 12 o'clock. Yeah, she was crazy. She tried to like cut the line and stuff. She was like talking to herself. It was wild.
Damn. That's wild. Yeah. I played the woods map, and I mean it's literally like just out in the new area. Like, I mean it's not new anymore, but like there's just like the cabin. It's like by the village where the new car is, like a little bit before that. They just cut that thing and they added a little bit, so it's not just open. They added a bunch of cover and stuff like that. Okay. It almost feels like a paintball like arena, because there's just kind of like random cover and stuff. But I thought that was super fun. It's definitely like that's definitely the biggest map. So the way from what I could tell, all the other 3 maps that were played, the Bay 5, which is like the Connex Town one, the mall, and the air pit, the airplane one that you played, it was 90 seconds. Match start after 90 seconds, that objective opens, and you can play. On Woods, it was 3 minutes because the map was just a little bit bigger, and it was maybe 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. It was a little bit longer, and then what happens is so it's like those are like the anti-camping measures, right? Because like if it's a 1v1 and the other dude's not moving, you can just go cap the objective. If nobody caps, so the objective comes up after 90 seconds, and then it starts a new timer, and I think it's 60 seconds. If nobody wins or caps the objective after 60 seconds, that's when the AI come out. And it's just like in waves, and it's like you will die. Like one time that happened, it was because we were still figuring out that the objective was there. We were just like looking for each other, and I just started hearing grenades and like Sermon cracking off like this SVD, and it's like you will die. So it kind of forces the maps to play in 5 minutes or less because they're coming for you. I can't wait. I think at one point everybody agreed to just wait for the AI to come out to see if they could kill them all. It was funny.
I should have stood up and be like, yo, everybody.
Yeah.
I wonder someone's going to like test that out. And it's going to be like, I remember hearing a joke on, I forget what it was. Might have been on one of the other podcasts I listened to where they're like, you remember was it Battlefield 1 where it like starts off where it's like you're on the front lines of World War I, and it's like you end up like fighting. And then, but like when you die, it's like, it says like a soldier's name and like death day. And someone made the joke talking about that. They're like, if you're good enough, you can just beat the whole war. Like you just keep going. You don't have to die. And I'm just wondering if anybody's gonna be like, they're gonna find a spot where the AI just doesn't aggro you, and they're gonna be able to like live forever. And
4 hour long arena server. Yeah. But it was fun, man. I thought it was the same thing. I only got to play 2 games as well. Like, there's obviously it's not enough time, right? It's not enough time to be able to. People are asking all these questions. Like people ask me, is it going to kill CS:GO? Is it going to kill Tarkov? Is it like it's not like CS:GO. It's not like Valorant. It's more like Call of Duty. Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty Search and Destroy without the bomb site to plant that.
But it's like I need time. Of course, we talked about this going into it. We literally talked about this going into it. It was at TwitchCon. The convention floor was bumping. It was all our streamer friends there. Nikita and the BSG crew were there. It's like, oh, of course we were going to have a good time playing it. You know what I mean? But what I've been telling people is I left TwitchCon more excited to play it, not less excited to play it. That doesn't tell me, like, that's all I have for you. I'm not positive it's going to be perfect. I don't know. There were desync issues, but then it was an older build, and we thought it was LAN, but it wasn't on LAN. We were at so, like, there's all the back and forth, but all that really matters is, like, I had fun, and I left more excited to get my hands on it. I could play it for, 12 hours on launch day and be like, yo, this is DOA. Like, they missed the mark. And I could do that and not go back on anything I've said about TwitchCon because all that I'm saying is that I had a blast playing it. You know what I mean? Like it's impossible to comment on the audio because the convention floor was so loud. I literally spent half of my first match as well messing with keybinds because I have a bunch of stuff bound to my mouse. I've like changed the zoom of my scope bound to my mouse. What the hell is that keybind? I don't know. They had shift on like something weird. So when I let go of shift, I would sprint for 2 more seconds before my dude would stop.
A ton of things were on toggle rather than hold. So like lean, I was like walking around like cocked to the side and I'm like, I couldn't.
So it's like impossible, but it was fun. The game mode was fun. The maps flowed well that I could see, that I could play. I mean, I watched the tournament all day on Saturday. So it was like really cool being able to see all 4 of the maps and like a lot of how they played. Every single one of my like biggest concerns remain because all of my biggest concerns are about how it connects to Tarkov. And we were all just playing arena accounts with 50 million rubles, right? Like they were just churning and burning people through the booth, allowing them to play. So I have no more information about like how much money you make or how the XP is, or does it transfer 1-to-1? Can you bring your own gear in? Like, I don't know. It was interesting seeing what some of the kits were because like everybody ended up using so many people ended up using the MCX build because it was MCX, 40 rounders with AP and a hex grid, no helmet. And so it was just like,
or the
or the
not the
Risty Slick.
AK-74, but like what's the other
SA-58.
one? Oh, the SA-58 was another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the what does Killa have? The
The
RPK.
RPK.
There was the
Yeah.
RPK
I
build
had
that was
BS
also
or 7 and 40, I think, which is the one that reduces your recoil.
yeah. So I played with the MDR. I don't know what it had. When I played the first day, I didn't know how the UI is clunky as on that one screen to try to
Yeah.
figure out like what ammo you have and whatever. But the second day when I was able to choose, I had the SR-25
Oh
with the
yeah,
Voodoo.
with the Voodoo.
Um,
That's a clean kit.
But the first 3 rounds, I was like 6x, which is like useless.
Yeah.
So before I managed to like catch one of my teammates that wasn't breastfeeding to ask them, what the keybind was. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's gonna feel so much different when we get to play at home.
And
because I am gonna play different because I couldn't hear anything. I was just running around.
Same. It was like map exploration. It was like if I get into a fight around this corner or whatever, I don't care if I die. Yeah, same. And it's going to be so different grinding it. Like, what does 6 hours of that look like? How fast is it to get more in other matches? Like, are we playing the same map over and over again, or the map's random? And then like everybody only got to play team fight, which is the 5v5 mode. But there's 4 modes launching. Which shootout says round robin tournament. Each team plays against each other in solo, duo, or trios. The 2 teams with the most victory points meet in the final. So it's almost like a built-in tournament thing.
Shit.
Then there's team fight. Then there's overrun, which is PvE, which I think is so cool that they're adding 5 players, doing waves of enemies. PvE. I think that's super sick. And then last hero, I think, is free for all. It's solos, just like nonstop 1v1v1v1v1v1.
Oh my god, I think that's probably what I'll
Yeah, I know it is. And then duel is like blacked out, so you can't select duel, but the other game mode that shows on the website is duel, which I think will probably be 2v2s. Which
duel?
Yeah. Or I guess
not 1v1.
Well, last hero is the goal of free for. I guess duel might be just 1v1, and last hero is like there might be 5 or 6 and it's free for all. I guess that's true. Yeah. But dude, I'm excited. I'm so excited. The other thing that we didn't really see is like they've teased we talked about this before, some kits that you'll like sacrifice some armor or whatever, but you'll get like bonus money, bonus XP if you use this kit. I didn't see any of those. It was just like some kits.
Yeah, all of the kits were, it was like a really, really good gun with good ammo and and either like mid armor, mid helmet, or MP5 with maybe good ammo and like sick armor and like a helmet without headphones that you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Or like the SR-25 was SR-25 with a PACA and like a boonie.
Yeah.
So it's like you get a really good gun with like armor, so they balance it.
Yeah.
Like that, where it's like you really just kind of get half.
And we don't know what the progression is like as far as like how much money do you start with? So how conservative will you be? If I link my Tarkov, I have 87 million rubles right now. If I just like link those accounts, do I just show up at Arena with 87 million rubles? What does the progression look like? The last we heard was Nikita said you'll be able to bring your own gear from Tarkov at a certain level. So like you don't just get to like do that right at the gate. You have to like level up to a certain level. So there's still lots of questions on that. But
for everybody that just heard that ding on Windows, that was me opening the launcher to hit install.
Oh my god, I did not hear that. So I don't know. I'm super excited. I definitely had a blast. I think I agree. Like right now at the point where I'm at in the wipe is all I really want to do is PvP, and that costs me so much time to do, right? Like I'm in the stash. I spend 6 minutes matching in. We have to run around the map and find people. If I die and Valiant's still up, I have to wait for him to get out of the raid or die, and then we have to start it over again. Well, you know what I mean? Like, what was nice about Teamfight too was like 7 rounds. So if you die, it's just 30 seconds, 60 seconds until the rest of your team is wiped, and then you're right back in it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Even like if you guys go 6 and 6, and then the 7th is what takes it, then you're at 13 rounds before you even have to match again. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just so much more time playing the damn game. I thought the spectator thing was sick. And then, did you see, I can't remember if I told you this at TwitchCon, but like when you were watching the tournament, you know how they had the like big, the eye in the sky mode, and they were like following people around with like the free cam?
I guess that the people who they got like stuck overseas, they didn't manage, like the people who they had trained on that. So whoever was there like last minute to do like, not the casting, but like the camera controls.
The camera work.
I mean, don't want to be harsh, but they wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know, it was constantly like someone would be running, they'd go to aim, and then it would like cut to someone like, no, what are you doing? You know, like constantly.
But they mentioned that the guys that they had trained up on it, and the other thing Dimitri said to me was like, the build we were on had like not nearly as many tools for that. Like the current build that they have internally had even more tools of like switching between people, or maybe even toggling on like nameplates if you're eye in the sky so you see where everybody is. Like they had a bunch of other tools, but this build we didn't have it, and they didn't have their guys trained on it. But I asked him, I was like, do we have access to those tools? He was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, so I can just like run a tournament with my own chat and just be like, hey, we're doing this. I'm not going to participate. I'm going to be eye in the sky. He was like, yeah, of course. So I was like, yes, dude. Oh, it's going to be so sick.
So there are 3 more things I think are worth talking about there. One of them was, I don't know why it took so long to get into a game when there's like 5 of us against 5. Like
that's weird. It didn't take me long.
It was start and we would wait like 5 minutes.
Really?
Like, yeah, like why are we queuing? Why is it taking so, like, what the right? Yeah. Like I really pray to Christ
same
that gets sorted.
Same. That's like make or break for Arena. If it takes 8 minutes to get another raid, it's like,
I mean, it's good that it's not 8 minutes between rounds, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Which is what Tarkov is. You run 5 feet, you die, and then it's 8 minutes to get back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was taking
too long,
far longer than I would have expected. Now, what I also don't know is if it was on LAN.
It wasn't.
Or not.
It's been confirmed that we were connected to West Coast servers. A West Coast server.
So does that explain the landmark situation? Because that was something that people were trying to figure out what the happened. So for context, it was Landmark, and who was shooting at him?
Landmark was shooting at Ash.
Yeah, so Ash was like, coming around the corner. There's one of those like shipping containers that was kind of up on as a ramp that you could kind of go up. He turns the corner, Landmark's down kind of on the side behind him, and Landmark is just all
connecting.
Every single bullet hitting, and was like, whoa, what the and like some people were like, oh, he had bad ammo, it was the MCX, he was using Whisper, until we saw Ash's perspective. He ran, you kind of see a little sliver of where Landmark is standing, and he just runs up the thing, doesn't get hit with a single bullet.
Oblivious. Yeah, no, doesn't even hear that he's being shot at.
Yeah, there's no gunshots or anything, and people were like, it's decent. Some people thought it was ballistics, and then we found out that it wasn't. Then people were saying, oh, well, it couldn't be desync because it was on LAN.
Yeah,
and I'm like, if it's on LAN, that's worse, because that means that the kinds of issues that we see that we blame on netcode are like client side.
Yeah.
That would be like the client's like, oh, you're shooting bullets, I'm gonna show the blood and everything, but I'll get around to sending those packets off, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? Like your client is just like, I'm not even gonna send it. It's not even netcode if it's LAN.
Yep.
So I'm actually happy to hear that it's LAN.
So was I, or that it wasn't LAN. Yeah.
Sorry, that it wasn't LAN. Yeah.
I was happy to hear that too.
So I mean, it's still like we're probably gonna. I genuinely don't think that the game's gonna be like desync free. Like
I don't think so either. Like, I'm absolutely tempering my expectations to like, my expectation is like exactly what we have in Tarkov right now, but just in Arena. You know what I mean? The audio, I'm just gonna kind of wait and see, because as we've talked about before, theoretically in the much smaller maps, it would be much easier to like tighten up the occlusion zones, because
you make no occlusion zones, just make it one box, and then it's just the HRTF
Yeah.
which has been generally good.
Yes. So the audio was like a big question, and unfortunately nobody there can really answer it because the headphones were really bad and the show floor was so loud. Nobody can really give a like the audio was great or the audio was terrible. Nobody could really hear anything. So a lot of people were just slapping on the wrist T kits because they were like, dude, if I can't hear anything, I'm just gonna run around with the wrist T. So
People are gonna play slow. It's gonna go from 60 to 10 when we can all play it in person, because then people are gonna like especially because there were some people watching, and whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, the smart thing to do, especially with like an SR25 and a Voodoo, is to go hold one of the long angles, go prone, and just hold your crosshair there.
Yeah. Wait, yep.
But instead, I was turn on my laser and just run it.
Yep.
And point firing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we all were, yeah.
Because it's like I'm not going to be able to hear anything. There were 3 or 4 times where I'd turn a corner and be like, oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Put like 4 bullets into my teammate.
The team kill. Oh, there were lots of team kills.
It's really hard to be able to. First of all, half the time I just forget if I'm red or blue.
100%.
And then the armbands aren't super visible all the time.
Yep.
I literally I'm gonna have to say it in my head. Shoot the blue. Shoot the blue. Shoot the blue. Shoot the blue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
for sure.
So, the only other thing worth mentioning, is, in some ways, I kind of hate Tarkov's healing system in this kind of setting. Because what ends up happening is, this round is going to be over within the next 20 seconds. I'm just gonna pop a painkiller and just ignore everything.
Yep.
Because especially now, that might change when we have good audio.
Maybe
by that I mean like if we can hear, because then I'll sit in a corner and I'll heal, because if someone's gonna come, I'm gonna hear it.
Yeah.
But playing that day without audio, knowing that just anybody could be anywhere, and that unlike every other game in the world that you don't have to heal, they also have radar, so you can look up and you hear footsteps and you see the green dot. It's like, okay, I'm fine. It's when you look up, you see it's not a teammate, and then you can correlate that. But instead, it's like there's footsteps. I'm just going to assume it's a guy. Or I didn't heal at all.
Or healing, if there is healing in those other games, it's and then you're done. You know what I mean? If anything, it's that, and you could, a random nade off spawn could like get you so bad that you've got 3 heavy bleeds and your thorax and your head and everything is down to like 8 HP, and you're like, do I just start pushing corners? It'll take me 10% of this entire round's time frame to just stop my heavy bleeds. You know what I mean? Like,
so you
let
might as well
alone
use this
heal
as an
the limbs.
Yeah, so you might as well use it as an opportunity to play YOLO.
Yeah, it was
which
just
can be fun.
The 5 seconds is 5 seconds, right? Like 5 seconds is an objective amount of time. It doesn't change. But the perception when you're in an arena and rounds last 90 seconds and everybody was moving, the amount of times I thought I had literally felt like they'd made the Salua animation in slow motion, because it's just like, and I'm like, oh my God. And then he puts it away and I'm that. It's like, holy cow. I heard Chief mentioning that too. They won't do it. I am confident. I'm confident they won't do it. But I believe it would serve the game mode well to reduce the amount of time it takes to do those things. I do think there's a world where it is kind of cool that you have to prioritize. Like, there's a world in which in that fast-paced game mode, it's kind of cool to be like, okay, these are the 3 health effects I have. I only have time to hit one. I'm going to hit this one. This gives me the best chance of survival, and then I'm going to go back to push. There's a world in which that's cool, but not when each of those things take 3 to 5 seconds to do.
You're never going to serve 12. You're never going to...
You're barely ever going to heal. Because a lot of the Tarkov people, right? Your kid has a grizzly. Oh, sick. I can heal heavy bleeds, light bleed. No, not sick. A grizzly's the longest animation. It takes forever. You know what I mean? So it was, I agree. That and I know the Tarkov Andes, like the realism Andes and the Tarkov people are like, meh. And I don't care. But I agree. The other thing too was broken limbs. Like, if there's anywhere in the world the adrenaline system needs to be, it's arena. I mean, it needs to be in the main game too, but it just feels so bad because these types of shooters are all about the clutch, right? All about getting shot from behind and the flick, all about getting, 1v2ing, 1v3ing. Those are the moments that make these types of video games. And it just feels so bad to just be like, I'm dead. And you just can't do anything, Oh, it feels so bad. So
yeah, there were a few rough clips where we were watching like the tournament and seeing like, you see somebody, they're, the person's running, they don't see him yet. They start to shoot at him. All of a sudden, the person flicks and hits him with one bullet, and then all of a sudden they're like this, and it's like the recoil and the aim punch is like, So that's, I don't know, it's gonna be rough. I think.
I agree. Those are the things where I hope that they're open to feedback on that stuff. Once again, I don't expect them to be. They seemed really committed, even from really early on. Like, this is going to be the same movement system, the same healing system, the same everything. We want it to be exactly the same. And I understand that sentiment, but I do think that the design clashes for a game mode like this. You know what I mean? I think a design clashes for Tarkov in a lot of ways, let alone Arena,
Yeah, I think that they're honestly, here's how something that I would try out at least, or even just like get in a room with a bunch of people in a meeting, whiteboard it out and see like, is this a bad idea, and walk through some of the implications. But imagine if the logic was if you're going to go to heal, if all of your limbs are full and you have a blacked out limb, heal that. So like if you have blacked out arm, half stomach, you go to heal with a Salewa, it fills up the stomach. You go to heal with the Salewa, it fills up the arm. But you can't heal the arm because, like, no, you're never going to serve. You're never going to CMS.
No.
There's just not enough time.
Yeah.
It takes too long to put it away. You're just going to deal with having the blacked out limb. I don't even know if there are any kits that have those things. I don't know. I just feel like it should be like Tarkov healing system light.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Maybe that's a bad idea, but I don't know. I just like it. The problem is that, people would say, well, the healing system is important. It's so integral to Tarkov and decision making. And I would argue the way it is now, there's no decision making.
Yeah.
You literally hit your Propital or your adrenaline or whatever your painkiller, and you just run. I didn't even look. Now, granted, I have to admit that part of that was because I was so out of you don't open your inventory to loot.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't used to hitting tab, hitting the health thing again. So like I never even, like that's just something that, you can really only situationally do when things have slowed down. You're like, all right, what are my heals at? But I forgot so many of the controls and so much of the meta and like habits I got into playing Tarkov that like I didn't even heal. I just literally hit like 4 to use my IFAK or 5. Actually I would spawn in, would run, get like halfway to where like the engagement would start, and I would pop my adrenaline. Because 60 seconds, I'm going to be dead or the round's over.
Yep.
So I just insta pop it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll be interested, man. I'm very interested to see what they do, how they respond to players like that. Because I agree, it's not. Yeah, there's just no room for like, well, like you said, it's what makes Tarkov. It, the realism, the decision making. It's like that's not what's happening here. You know what I mean? This is 5v5. You're just like, if I got hurt, I would run away. There is no, like, you can run away in Tarkov. There's no running away here. You're in a very small map with a timer, and if I try and run away and use my 4 CMS kits to heal like I would do in real life, the AI is just going to start shooting me, right? You know what I mean? So it's just not. Now, if they decide to do it, that's fine, man. Like if they keep with it, whatever. That's their prerogative. I'm still excited to play it. I'll probably have a blast. But yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know. The other question I got a million times was how's inertia? And it's funny because it's you're never overweight. Right? You spawn in with your gun, your helmet, oftentimes your armor, oftentimes no helmet. You've got ears, you've got 3 mags and 2 meds. And which is what I said going into it. I was like, I don't think you're going to really feel the inertia. You're never going to be 70 kilograms. You know what I mean? You're barely ever running out one full stamina bar because you're just in the fight immediately. So,
Oh yeah, I never ran out of stamina now that you mention it.
yeah. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. A lot of people, at least in my chat, was like inertia. You're not going to notice it because you're going to be underweight the whole time. And it's just, yeah, it's not really going to ever get in the way. There were lots of questions on like, if I loot a gun, like Stankrat ran out of ammo at some point and was like looting somebody else's gun. But he died. And I was like, what happens if he loots the gun and the match ends?
You
know what I
definitely
mean?
don't keep it. There's no way you keep
Like,
it.
you just like restart with your same kid. I don't think anybody did. So,
Yeah, I mean yeah, there's no way that you would keep it because like there's just no way.
yeah. So I don't know, but I was excited. I'm excited. I think it was fun.
Yeah, like I said, it got me excited. I just literally changed over to the Tarkov category, and I'm gonna play Tarky after the podcast. Give it a try. See, here's the thing. Like I think about. I am a little bit excited to f around with it again, but then at the same time, I'm like, I'm already imagining a bunch of quests that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So like, do I just like skip the quests? Like I'm not gonna get Kappa. Like
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter. Maybe I just I'm just
farm
gonna
viewer
take
kits,
it.
bro.
Is viewer kit apocalypse? I literally last time I played, it was like you got canceled if you took a viewer kit. Remember?
I do
remember.
I do remember. Yeah. No, it's all that's in the past. Friendly guy started a new account and it was like a challenge. It was like, I'm gonna get to level 40 and I'm only going into a raid if I get a viewer kit to prove that you're not going to get banned if you get viewer kits. It was like this. Everybody was like, oh, don't do it. If you take 60 BP, you're going to get banned. And he was like, let me show you. And he like got to level 30 or something, exclusively taking viewer kits or something. So, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know. Maybe I will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, I feel that though. Like this is the first wipe. This is the first wipe since I got Kappa for the first time that I willingly chose not to get Kappa. And I have like, I know A, 3 other people that also feel that way, and B, like I am 5 quests away from Kappa, and I could not be less interested in completing those 5 quests.
Are they like AIDS quests?
I haven't completed Stirrup yet, which is just
Stirrup?
Kill 3 people with pistols.
Right?
Anywhere.
Is it because you're bad?
No, it's just because I don't want to use a pistol and I don't care to do the quest. It's because you're bad. I have 1 kill. Like I just Now some of them are AIDS. I have like the guide, you know what I mean, which I don't want to do.
Lol.
But I haven't done Shooterborn in Heaven yet. Which is
I thought that wasn't required anymore, or maybe it is now.
They changed. It's not 100 meters. It's any distance, but you have to have a bolty.
Yeah, because now it's like wiggle at 4 scavs or whatever. Like they've changed it so drastically from what it used to be. That.
And Psycho Sniper, which is now, if Psycho Sniper used to be just get level 9 sniper skill, now it's get level 9 sniper skill and kill 5 PMCs with a bolty without dying and extract. Which so many people have just been taking AXMCs to factory because it doesn't say where.
I was gonna say that they didn't put the factory because they did put the factory restriction
on a bunch of
like
them, yeah.
Tarkov shooter and stuff, right?
And and Punisher Part 6 with the SVDs, they put the factory restriction on. But now, I mean, on Psycho Sniper, you can just AXMC because it doesn't even have to be headshots. So AXMC FMJ, you're just one tapping him to the chest. Once you get to 5, you just leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how long. There's a world in which I play for less than 1 hour.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, for sure.
I
get it. Dude, there was something else. What was I going to say? It was Tarkov related. Oh, before we move on from Tarkov, have you seen the the streamer challenge thing.
I literally saw it on the launcher, and I was gonna ask about it.
Who sent me that picture?
At least 100 hours. Damn, never mind. I don't qualify.
Don't qualify. Damn
Oh
it.
wait. Actually, I was joking because I thought I was gonna say 100. It's 100 hours of Tarkov broadcast in the last 6 months. So I actually don't qualify. I thought it was like 100 hours playing the game. No, I like legitimately don't.
No, you
qualify.
don't. You can't do the streamer challenge.
Well, I mean, like, give me like 10 days.
Get wrecked.
If I could play for 10 days.
Who sent me the picture, dude, of the challenges? God damn. Anyways,
dude, you know what? We need to start a petition,
dude,
because the people that won the arena thing, was Landmark's team.
Mm-hmm.
All of them get,
streamer
the prizes like streamer items, and that includes the second streamer item. We need to start a petition. I legitimately thought about DMing Landmark to be like, you should say Jesse Kazam should have my second streamer item. I absolutely start a GoFundMe or whatever, because if I listen, I'm just gonna say this. If I won something like that and I already had a streamer item, I would say give it to somebody else who deserves it.
I feel you.
I of course feel like you deserve it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It is cool that they get streamer items. Like, it's cool. Like, a bunch of people that were there, like Abney, it was so cool rooting for him, and he gets one now.
Oh wait,
Dunk.
Landmark already has like a pizza thing, right? Anyway, he could just pretend like it's his, but we'll all know it's yours.
Yeah, that will be that. That would be hilarious. But the so the winners apparently all got streamer items, and including a second one, if you have one, and the streamer battle, the streamer challenge. I think it's really cool because they considered a lot of things. So like you said, you have to have been broadcasting for whatever. Another thing that's cool is they're only counting 8 hours a day of game time. So you can't win by just putting 9 20-hour days in. Like 8 hours is a lot.
Yeah, you can't just pull a Pestily and like.
Yeah, but you can't just farm forever, which a lot of the challenges in the past, I mean, none of them have been like this, but have, you know what I mean? You can just, the leaderboards that they did.
Yeah.
It was just who's playing 22 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, which is fine. That was fine, but it was like, I can't play 22 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are, you won't be able to compete. Like, if you could play 11 hours a day, and that's a lot, you aren't gonna get twice as many points as someone.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. So they're capping it at 8 hours a day, and each day has a new. So it's 9 days because each day has a different map, and it's like I
9
can't.
days of Tarkov, Nikita gave to me.
You're gonna get DMCA, don't know. No.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Their accounts given to you, which makes me wonder if it's private servers, because like somebody asked about Q sniping, it's you get an account for this. So it might be like if they get thousands of people and everybody's focused on one map, it might just be its own servers. You know what I mean? I don't know. And but each day has a map focus, and it's like a bot kill is 1 point. A PMC kill is a certain amount of points. Extraction is a certain amount of points. Extracting with any streamer item is a certain amount of points. Getting like boss or raider or rogue or goon kills is a certain amount of points. 5 extracts in a row is a bunch of points. And then like each map has its own like little thing that's unique to that map, like a side quest special challenge. And you have 8 hours per day, and you just like, I don't know if everyone has to do it at the same time. I didn't really look into it. And then they aggregate all the points at the end of the 9 days, and the winner gets a streamer item. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because like my guess is like probably someone we've never heard of is gonna win. Like that's always when people are like, who's the best? It's like, dude, it's probably some dude that just grinds and streams to like 3 viewers. You know what I mean? He's probably better than all of us. So I'm excited to see. I don't know that I'm gonna participate because like I can't play 8 hours a day for 9 days straight. You know what I mean? Like I have a family. I'm not just gonna hop in. I'm already not nearly as good as half of these dudes. Not nearly as good, and I would miss 2 days. It's like
Yeah. And like Tarkov has so many not fun elements.
adding
This is like
competition to it.
making it not, because like when it comes to something like this, if you really want to compete, you really have to min max. You really have to
Yeah.
focus on what's the most efficient, like the bingo, like you spend more time theory crafting what to do for the bingo and where to go and how to do it. Then it's just like, I don't feel like I'm playing Tarkov anymore.
Yeah, you have to, dude.
The whole meta game around that just becomes unfun.
For me, it's just like I already get so mad at all of the stuff. Like I hate. That's why I hate the quests. It's like dying with something I need. I'm just like, oh, I have to go do this thing again. Dying when you're on that 4th extract in a row and you have 6 streamer items and and it's just going to be so brutal. And then the other thing is like, Gingy plays this way really well, and I don't. I play the opposite. When I'm playing the game, dude, if I find a morphine I need, I'm like, let's go. I gotta get this fountain raid. Everybody's like, Gingy's so lucky, Gingy's so lucky. It's because every raid she plays until there's 80 seconds left. She's just, no matter what she has on her, she's looting and she's going for the fights, which means her deaths are so much more brutal because she has so much more on her. But it means every extract is just insane. She does that so well, and that's not how my brain works. But that the winner is going to have played this way, make big risks. I have 3 streamer items on me, this, and this is my 4th extract. I'm gonna go for that 1v3. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't know. It may be. It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Because the people that go for the big risks, if they are unlucky, like you could say the same about gambling, right?
Yeah.
It's only if you don't the dealer doesn't get blackjack the first 5 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm saying like go ahead.
It could go either way, right? Like the person who goes in, gets the morphine they need, and pieces out. If they do that 7 raids in a row, and then the other person goes risk it for the biscuit and dies in 6 out of 7 raids, the person who played it not casually, but slower, more carefully is what I meant to say. Then they'll be the one that wins.
But I think with enough people participating, you're absolutely right. 500 people will play the big dick way, and 499 of them will get cucked. It's just the one that got the luck, 4 raids in a row each day. That guy's going to win. It's like...
That very well may be the case. What will be the determining factor of that is what are the XP... What is the like reward for challenge?
True.
If there are things that are like big points, get out with a LEDX, if
then
that's worth 10 times more than get a morphine, it really depends. It depends on how the rewards are allocated.
Yeah.
I'm
so pissed I can't find it. Somebody sent me a screenshot of literally like how the points are allocated and every single But anyways, it's interesting. I think it's cool. You know what I might do on day 1? I was thinking about doing this on day 1 and then like ripping it and just seeing how it goes. Cause I don't know if BSG, I don't think BSG is going to be doing any sort of like official stream. For day 1, I might just like cast it. I might just literally sit and bounce around to like streamers and like see who's doing what and like not like cast it, but kind of like create. I think it would be fun. A lot of people have their guy that they just want to watch do the whole thing, which is going to be great. I want to see what everyone's doing. You know what I mean? I want to have like 87 tabs up and like as soon as somebody dies, find somebody else in a clutch moment and then just be like, ooh, how many points do they have on them? I think that sounds more fun to me than participating in it. So I might do that and just like see if people vibe with that. Like if I get some people who are like, dude, I want to see, what's going on big picture. I might do that for a while.
The only thing that might make that hard, and I hope it works out because that sounds like fun as I feel like I'd want to like co-cast with you for a couple hours. But is the fact that like during Twitch Rivals, it's like there's a 3-hour window and the people who are competing. Yeah. Whereas this is going to be a lot more like somebody might have been competing yesterday and they're just raiding today, decided that they're kind of out of the,
true.
Because it's just for like, it's this open-ended thing where you can do whatever, whenever, however you want, right?
Well, I think I read through the rules today and I already forgot. So, but this is what I think it was. There's a start time and an end time. Like these are the 8 hours in which you can compete. I could be wrong about that. And
On each day,
and each day you can only get points on one map. And if they're arena accounts, it means if you're participating, you will be on this map on this day at this time. So it might be easier to kind of like.
So it's not okay. I guess that makes more sense because
Yeah.
you know, like with the bingo stuff.
Yeah.
The only reason why that works is because they have like special accounts. They've got people who are watching the streams who are like paying attention to like adjudicate. If there's 5,000 people all randomly doing this, some of them are 2 viewer streamers. Like it's not like BSG, you know. If you have to get out with a morphine, how is anybody going to track that? It's not like you're going to have to compile the clips to prove it.
No,
so
it's on.
It must have to be on their own account.
It's
with
on their own accounts, and like basically, the what it says is at the end of the 8 hours, there's like a 5-minute period. It's like 7 hours and 55 minutes you have to compete, and nobody going into a raid during that last 5 minutes it will count because they need those 5 minutes to basically compile all the information from those accounts.
Interesting. So does that mean
the exact start and end times for each day of the challenge will be announced separately? So it is a specific. The countdown timer starts after the first click to start raid.
So that's gonna suck for people like overseas. It's gonna be like NA.
I hope
right?
they rotate. They have 9 days, so I hope it's like 8 today, 10 tomorrow, 12. That would make the most sense to me. You could kind of rotate around a 24-hour clock.
It needs to be fair. I hope it's fair like that because otherwise, you know, people in Asia or EU or whatever are gonna get cucked, and that's just not fair.
I hope that that's how they do it. So we'll see. I feel like that would be more fun than I'm just not a competitive dude. I would hop in on that first day. I would die 6 times in a row to Desmond, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this.
I'm competitive when I think the competition is fun and I can compete. Yeah. Otherwise, I have no desire to take part.
Yeah.
And there's no way. I mean, there's just simply no way I would remotely. There's simply no way that I would be able to do well. And I mean, even if I could, see, that's the other like hard part is there's also kind of like a meta around this. You know, like there were people during like Twitch Rivals that their like mods would be like theory crafting, like putting together the optimal, whatever. Or back in the day when you'd have streamers who were like, I want to be the first to 40, they'd have like a group, like a team of people behind the scenes figuring out like, I'm going to get all these quest items. I'm going to bring them into the raid. I'm going to do this. And it's like, I don't know. There's just so much metagaming.
Yeah.
And because it's timed, it's just so inefficient because I would sit there with an Excel spreadsheet for 2 of the 8 hours thinking about the optimal way to go forward, and I've already lost.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just that kind of stuff doesn't.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I feel like they've thought about a bit. Like one of the rules is you're not allowed to take outside help. That was something that was happening a lot when they were doing the leaderboards. Is people were just like taking viewer kits every raid, so they didn't have to spend the time gearing up in their stash. Like, you know what I mean? Because
exactly what I was
exactly what you're just saying. I have 100 million rubles, but I don't want to take the time to build a kit, so I'm just running viewer kits for the kills or whatever it was. But in this, you're not allowed to take any outside help. It has to be solo. That's another reason why I don't know if I want to participate. It's like I have 700,000 hours in Tarkov. 5,500 hours of that has been like duos. Like I just so like to compete over a 9-day period as a solo. I'm not winning. You know what I mean? I'm not even coming close. I'm not having fun. So,
dude, we need to do a series where Jesse teaches Veritas Streets of Tarkov.
Oh yeah, bro.
Where me and you just play Streets and you just teach me what's new about
it. Dude, if you play a few hours and you're like, I might want to dabble my toe in and we can link up on a day we're both live, I will teach you Streets, bro.
Because that would also be like, you know, you've probably done like Streets guides, but if you haven't, this would be like the perfect.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, where am I going? Whatever, you like pull up a map and you're like, this is where you're going. Like, condense that up into like a tutorial.
I would be down with that. But so that is kind of like the Tarkov news. There was a small patch today. The Halloween event has started. It's nothing that we haven't seen before. Like Tagilla's got his like scythe instead of his hammer. They did that last year. the pumpkin heads, the pumpkin little loot boxes that you
Oh,
take
God,
back
it's
to
gonna
the
be my
stash.
first day back is gonna be
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
getting chased by Tagilla.
Tequila's on labs, and then there's an assumption. There's like that's it. There's an assumption that there's going to be more things because like the picture they tweeted was like of cultists. Like no, in the past years they always made cultists 100% spawn chance. They didn't. So I think
I've only fought the cultists two times ever.
Well, people are thinking that like over the course of the next few days leading up to Halloween, they'll like do some things, and if they make cultists 100% spawn chance, I mean, I actually never mind what I was about to say. Don't go fight them on your first few days back. They are everything that's wrong with this game, all wrapped up into one. Meta ammo, they literally make no footsteps. You can't ever see them. There's 5 of them, and they just shoot you through bushes. It's at night. Yeah, don't do that.
They're on factory though.
Factory
I really wish I
is
could.
the most fun place to fight them. But that's all the patch was today. A few bug fixes, but nothing really. Before we move on to some other non-Tarkov related stuff, I do want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor for this episode, and that is HelloFresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. With a crazy schedule, HelloFresh can make it easy to fall back to get out of your dinner time rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week. So there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. We talked about them many times. Can't speak highly enough. What did I literally just have tonight? It was like a Mexican pork rice bowl with like a little pico, some sour cream. It was delicious.
Dog, now that I'm getting back in the gym and trying to eat healthy,
shoot, yeah.
I'm like gonna go back on the hardcore HelloFresh. Like I'll probably be eating it every day. They've got the fit and wholesome
menu,
section, like menu that I probably like should force myself to eat. Although meat and veggies too is probably gonna be because I gotta get
cut down on the carbs.
Gotta get all big, and jacked and everything. Yeah. Dude, I'm looking forward to. I mean, everything just looks phenomenal, and
it's delicious
and healthy.
It's super convenient. That's the thing that I've always harped on. Is the convenience of it. That's like before I tasted the food and realized that the food is delicious. Like the big thing that drew me to it was the convenience, because I don't mind cooking, but what I hate doing is figuring out what we're gonna eat this week and what I need. What do we need for burgers? The buns and the cheese. I forgot the lettuce. I hate that so much. And so just like, here's a bag. It's everything you need. It's the exact amount that you need. You can pick all sorts of different menu items. You can pick all sorts of different foods. They have all sorts of like add-ons. If you have people coming over, there's like limited time fall lineup. What do we got here? Apple cider cake with caramel sauce, barbecue pulled pork nachos, mini pumpkin cheesecakes. There's all sorts
barbecue chicken, pineapple flatbread, sweet chili chicken bowl.
I got one of their flatbreads once and it was delicious.
I don't know what shawarma is, but
I don't know what it is, but I know it's good. I had it before. So
I'll probably stick to the chicken sausage spaghetti bolognese, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So the convenience is huge. Being able to pick how many meals you want, how often you want those meals. It's awesome. The add-ons, delicious. And then the food is great. I've learned a ton about cooking. It's pretty great. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/50podcast and use code 50podcast for 50% off plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/50podcast and use code 50podcast for 50% off plus free shipping. Thank you again so much, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, for sponsoring this episode. Jace. So
Dude, oh my god, spicy maple chicken, pork fajita. Oh my god, this is like literally all this like just like chicken, rice, vegetables. Like, I mean, listen, I don't have to work out that much because someone came up to me and said landmark, and
I do remember that. I was there for that to bear witness.
Thank God, because no one would believe me. No one would believe me. I'm so glad that it's you, because nobody would have believed me otherwise.
Literally, it was like landmark, and you were like,
I was like, yeah, dog. You see this?
I get that all the time.
Yeah, I really genuinely get it all the time. So
somebody asked Geeks if he was Valiant, and I thought that was hilarious.
Someone asked me if I was Finest. Finest XI. It's either Jessica Zam or Finest or A couple people have been. Yeah, there's like a handful of folks that I am not me.
That's
So
so funny.
yeah.
So when I popped in, you were working on the Billy Mitchell doc. How's that going?
I mean, I'm definitely making it now.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
too
fully
deep.
yeah, I'm fully committed. The question now is, do I wait until after the trial or not?
Oh.
Because so if and that's in like 4 weeks or something.
Oh, okay.
If he loses, that is huge
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know the law. I'm sure there's probably like one lawyer in our audience that would like you know do the ultimate eye roll. But part of defamation, right? I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
A
In
little
order to
bit.
win a defamation case, there's certain requirements, right? I think
Yeah,
I talked
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
You basically have to prove that the other person lied
yep,
and said something not true. They knew it was a lie, or they had complete reckless disregard for the truth. Like they didn't
yeah,
even, they heard a rumor from some random person, didn't verify it, and then went and told everybody.
yeah.
So if someone loses a defamation case in court, I almost feel like that would make it less likely they would sue someone else for defamation because it's
For
like,
sure.
how are you going to say that I have a disregard for the truth when a court said
Yep,
effectively that what happened is true and this other person was justified?
yep.
Why would I not be
That's a
justified?
good point. Yeah, that kind of like in a way opens the floodgates on. Are you lost this battle once? Are you really going to start it up again?
And the answer to that is probably yeah.
With a lunatic like him, maybe.
But the problem is allegedly lunatic.
Alleged, yeah.
Allegedly.
Sorry, I'm not defaming you, Billy.
Yeah, you haven't even seen King of Kong, so
Yeah, true.
you don't even know who he is. So you couldn't possibly be defaming him. But
Should
yeah,
we make
so like
Team Weeby merch?
Team Weeby, Billy makes him and his cronies make Team Weeby merch. Like unironically, I've
That's
seen it.
gross.
It's weird.
That's so gross.
Now they actually like don't. They haven't like.
Damn.
They get along fine in person. Steve's also just seems like too much of a nice, generous guy to like say. If I'm not gonna,
he's thinking.
I'm not gonna say how he feels or pretend like I know how he feels. But if he really didn't like him at all, he wouldn't say that. Although I will say one of the more recent bombshell pieces of evidence. So for the longest time, we have all been doing analysis on video that sometime within the last 10 years was uploaded to YouTube by people.
Yeah.
So part of Billy's argument at various points in time, it was I didn't cheat, or what you see on my gameplay, it wasn't emulator MAME. It wasn't emulator, or what you see in those videos isn't emulator. That's not my gameplay in those videos. You can't prove it was me.
Yeah.
That is my gameplay, but the videos have been manipulated or edited to make it look like whatever. Every variation of that. There have been multiple sources that have been like, I have this tape that has been in my basement that was handed to me as a judge of Twin Galaxies to adjudicate this when it happened. And and one of those people, not as a judge, but one of those people, Steve Wiebe.
Oh my God.
He got the tape when they were filming King of Kong from like the producers in like 2005 or something.
Jeez.
And he's had it this whole time and just recently found it. So he got deposed.
God.
And he's got one of the original. And Jaboy sourced their. So there are all of these versions of these different tapes. Some of them are copies of copies. Some of them are camcorders faced at TVs, but you can tell if you overlay them side by side, it's all the same gameplay. It's just like different colors, aspect ratios, qualities, whatever, but it's the same gameplay.
Yeah.
But there have been multiple copies that were effectively sent directly to Twin Galaxies,
Okay.
that are like from like 2 or 3 sources that at the time were like Billy's friends. This is kind of like the downfall. And actually, I ended up interviewing. I had a 3-hour phone call 2 days ago with the guy who was the tech for Billy that was doing the analysis to defend him, that ended up realizing he cheated.
The guy in the video? Wow.
So he, really nice guy. We talked for 3 hours. I got,
Damn.
got a little bit of info. But what he says, and it's like a quote now in my video, he's like, Billy's downfall is that he lies so much and he sticks to it for so long. His friends want to help him, so they like come out of the woodwork to try to like help him, but he hates that because he's not pulling the strings. But what happened is one of his friends at the time, this guy Richie Knuckles, who's like an arcade guy,
Richie
was
Knuckles.
like, I have a copy of the tape, untouched, that I had. I know he's Billy's friend, and he sent it to Twin Galaxies because he believed Billy, thought it would like if Billy's innocent, this would help him, right? And it's like a digital straight rip, like direct feed recording from like VCR to digital.
Damn.
And I was able to find on the internet with Waze the first 2 of his like record tapes, the direct digital copy, where it's like and these were also, this was the one thing that like Carlos was saying made him change his mind. Part of it initially was that he was convinced that everybody was just out to get Billy. Billy had convinced him that like it's all a thing, and Billy would present him like, this guy sent me this video and said it shows MAME transitions. And then he would look at it and he would go, oh, well, it looks just like if I look at this and I look at the arcade that I'm testing, they look the same. So if they're saying this looks like MAME and I know they're wrong, then clearly these people are wrong and they must just be out to get Billy.
Yeah.
But you get tunnel visioned, and he never compared this with Billy's tapes.
Yeah.
Because he'd see that they are nothing alike.
Yeah.
He kind of just didn't exactly understand. He thought that the argument against Billy was that his video looks different than all of these other legit arcade VHS videos that were with a camera.
Yeah.
Because Billy's was direct feed, and he was the only one at the time that had a direct cable from the back of the machine into a converter into a VHS. Everybody else had a camcorder. So he spent all of his time for months proving that it looks different from all of his other stuff, and it's not because MAME, because he recorded it differently. And then when you look at his gameplay with all of these copies of the copies, you end up with like only a handful of questionable frames.
Okay.
But then when you get the original tape from his buddy that's like, check this out, this will prove he's innocent, every transition is like MAME. And he's like, that's when I knew. And he's like, and I confronted Billy. And I was like, what the dog? You have something to tell me?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, like, it makes sense. It makes sense what the guy said about he's so confident in his lies that it makes his friends, it makes him trust you more. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy ironic how the nail in the coffin is literally people so convinced that he's right, that how could this ever like condemn him, or you know what I mean? Like he's got like, that's wild. I didn't know.
And another part of this whole thing that also went against, like, that kind of over Carlos, was that he would go to the forums, and the forums were open, to the public, right? And so much of what he saw was bandwagoning people who didn't know what they were talking about. They were all right for the wrong reasons. So he was like, these people just don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to ignore them, and I'm going to do my own testing. So he kind of was like scroll by and not take any of it seriously, even though like the really good analyses with all of the
Yeah.
smoking gun evidence was all a part of that. He kind of just sort of threw out the baby with the bathwater, and that was his mistake.
Yep.
But it's a very human mistake to
Yeah.
like. He just came in wanting to help. He didn't have an agenda. He just assumed that, like, listen, assume you don't know Billy Mitchell, you don't know the memes, you don't know how untrustworthy he is, you
Yep.
don't know how sketchy all of these other homies that he has are. You come in and you see a bunch of entrepreneurs, businessmen, and family men. Someone who's apparently well respected in the community, who had multiple documentaries about him, had multiple Guinness Book of World Records, all this stuff. Are you going to believe him or a bunch of internet trolls?
Yep.
A bunch of slimy on the internet trying to. Clearly, you're just going to assume that the adult man guy is like just he's getting unfairly canceled, and you want to help him.
Yep.
And that tunnel visions you. And so
for sure,
the worst part, and I'm glad I got him to talk about it. The worst part was at one point, there's a video, like the last video that he did, where he's going through and he's like, guys, like he's trying to explain to all of the people on the forums that are all like, we all know he cheated, dude. Like, what the and Carlos looks completely like a shill because he's pointing at smoking gun evidence. He's effectively pointing at Billy with the bloody knife, and he's going, see, he's innocent.
Yeah. Oh.
Because he doesn't quite realize what the specifics of the argument.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. He had all the information. It's like being a really good shot, but everybody says the target's over there, but it's over there.
Yeah.
He's not shooting at the right target.
Yeah.
And he's going, guys, I'm nailing it. And everybody's like, you chill. And one of the things he said to me, like on the phone, was he's like, I went back and I saw, and I'm like, holy, it was right in front of me. I'm such a idiot.
Yeah, that's
he's
brutal.
like, I'm such an idiot, but honestly, a huge portion of the community was like, because he came out and apologized.
Yeah.
There was a little bit more of some like stuff I'm not really going to cover in the documentary, but like he tried to, after everything, he was basically like, I don't want to get involved in lawsuits here. I'm just like not even going to release I'm not even going to say anything. Like, it's like, I just don't even, I want to step away, because he was already getting harassed and death threats and whatever from all of the people, like from the trolls who hate Billy, that all delegitimized the real case against him. That's why I hate when people agree with me for the wrong reasons. You make me look bad.
Yeah.
So, but there was the whole thing where it was like, sign this piece of paper and I won't sue you kind of thing. The problem is that there was, it was effectively saying Billy didn't cheat. And he's like, I don't want to sign this. I'll say that, he's like, I'll go so far as to say it was inconclusive.
But
he's like, I'll go so far as to say that. He's like, but I'm not. And they're like, they went back and forth under pressure. He said he was like sitting there with his Billy and his wife for 3 hours or whatever. And he's like, I agreed to sign it, and they were going to change this one line. And he's like, I made that mistake because the next day Billy releases a 200-page thing, and Carlos's statement, unaltered, signed, is on page 2.
Oh, that's and so then everybody, brutal.
He didn't know it. So then a bunch of people came to him and were like, yo, dog, did you sign some paper? And he was like, didn't realize that it had gotten out. And so he was like, no. And he denied it and like lied to his friends. But then very quickly afterwards, like, nah, I got to walk this back. I'm sorry. I lied and I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So, but he owned up to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, people can make a bunch of mistakes. You have to recognize that they're human. Ultimately, what matters is what you do in the end. And what he ended up coming out and saying was, here's everything. And I'm an open book. I f***ed up and I'm sorry. And a lot of people in the community were like, mad respect to you, dude. You know, like,
that's good.
So I don't know. I'm sure some people are probably still like, that guy.
Well, I'm sure. But that's good because it's like it stands in such stark opposition to like Billy, and like that's like what all this is about. Like somebody had mentioned
just come
this.
Clean, Billy.
Yeah, if 10 years ago somebody was just like, "Bro, you cheated," and he was like, "Yeah, you're right," this wouldn't have been this. He would have been stripped of his titles, and nobody would remember his name. This is the multi-decade long commitment to the bit of just lying through your teeth and changing your story and moving the goalposts. So to just be able to, as a human, be like, I messed up. And I hate it, and I want to be on the right side here now. Like it's good that people are like, all right, at least most of the people are like, okay, respect, because that is brutal. That is brutal. And people like that, I mean, and you were alluding to this, but like people are human, people make mistakes, and people like that, the Billy Mitchells of the world, are really
Allegedly.
good at exploiting people who are trying to help into making those mistakes. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever been in your life in a situation where you feel like you made a mistake and you know it was your mistake, but you kind of felt like you were led into it and you didn't really like have enough time to think, like the allegedly Billy Mitchells of the world are just the people who are like that. Those compulsive liars are unbelievably good at just pushing you into those situations and then being like, you did it. You did it. I didn't make you sign that. I didn't make you do that. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff that's so brutal. It's so brutal.
And the bit that I edited today was effectively, it's like 17 minutes of my little mini documentary right now. I've done like an hour and 25. I have done edited, but what I just ended up doing, just because I ended up talking to Carlos, it was effectively like the introduction, rise and fall of the Carlos saga, because you have, Carlos comes in out of nowhere. He gets asked by one of Billy's friends to come help because someone saw that he had this knowledge and experience on a Facebook post from whatever. And they're like, I'm friends with Billy. This guy needs help. And he's like, all right, I'll go check it out. So he gets roped into this, thinks it's going to be fun, and thinks he's going to help a guy in need. He gets abused for 9 months, or more. I mean, it's been like 6 years now, since he got roped into this. It's 2018. And then he goes and gets conned by Billy this whole time into he's being lied to, getting fed misinformation, which makes him look bad. Then all of the legal stuff. Then he finally gets roped into it. And then now Billy is basically saying he never worked with me. He's just a fanboy that came out of nowhere, that was really interested in whatever, wanted to insert himself into the situation. He's not really an engineer. And of course, I'm interlaying all of the Billy's there with him on stage. Billy's eating popcorn while Carlos is sitting there talking
for him. Yeah.
Speaking for him. And he's like, oh, nope, nobody speaks for me. He never did whatever. And it's like, he flew Carlos out to California to talk at this event to basically say, this is my research of what I'm doing. He's essentially a punching bag for Billy this whole time. And now he's like, didn't stay in the hotel, never paid for his flight. Like, I don't even know where he stayed. Almost like it was a coincidence.
Dude.
Like it was a coincidence he was there. So now he's totally trying to not even just distance himself, but throw him under the bus. And there's a whole bunch of even worse slimy shit that I'm not even going to talk about.
What a grease ball.
Because even just talking about it makes other people look bad. Even just by the moment I say Joe Smith didn't beat his wife. Now, some percentage of the people are like, did he beat his wife?
Yeah. It's true, though. It's true.
So there's just like some shit that I don't even like. So many people that were in Team Billy. It's incredible how all of these people that used to be his friends and defending him are now like he's a con man, a fraud, and a scumbag.
Yeah.
I'm sure Billy's really innocent, and all of these people are just a part of the conspiracy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I just can't wait to see all the deposition stuff, because when the lawyer's like, did Carlos stay in your hotel room? Did you pay for his tickets? I know that the lawyer has got the JetBlue receipt and he's got it behind the clipboard. So when Billy's like, absolutely not, I know, I'm like, can't wait to like check mark that. I'm going to want to check back on that with later on at court, when he's going to be like, everything he says is clearly a lie, because everything everyone else says is the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff is like, it's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So the depositions are happening soon, or happened and haven't been released?
It happened in January.
Okay. And then the trial starts in a few weeks.
Yeah, the trial's in November. It's supposed to be like 3 or 4 weeks long. It's out in LA County. I'm sure I could probably, if I asked a bunch of people, I could maybe get access to some of them. It would be like, I don't know. I'd basically be like reaching out to the lawyers, and the judge wants, I think, most of the to be confidential. So I don't even want to ask someone. I don't want to ask someone to like break rules. You know what I mean? So I'm like not even gonna reach out and ask. But but yeah, I don't have access to it. Although Billy's deposition was originally uploaded in clips to like videos. Those videos got DMCA'd. Other people uploaded in full, DMCA'd. I initially had like 75 like YouTube links with timestamps for like make sure I talk about this, and they were just links. And I'm like, I'll record it later. And then the video got DMCA'd, and it's like, so that's why I've been going through his 6-hour deposition again on stream and just
Yeah.
like editing. It's like, but I was able to get a hard copy on like Google Drive from somebody who grabbed it. And there's a lot of things that like, you know, catch it while you can because
Yeah,
you never know.
yeah.
Everything just goes up and then goes down
That's
because
crazy.
Billy DMCA's everything. Like my video, I am gonna say there's a 95% chance, even if he loses this lawsuit, that my video gets DMCA'd within the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which sucks because it might completely tank the algorithm.
Yeah.
But now I will absolutely click the button that says I want to fight this, which then goes the ball's in their court to basically say if they want to pursue it, then take it to court.
Yep. Yeah.
Now the question is when I put it back on them, it'll
like...
almost definitely be Billy's son because Billy's son is his like hired gun that does everything for him. And also happens to like work as like a paralegal or some like the filing boy at the law firm
that represents Billy.
Yeah, I don't know what his job is, dude. You know, but yeah, so damn. I don't know if my video, if like once it goes back in their court, if the video would be back up until they do something.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either.
But yeah, I assume at the very least it'll get DMCA'd, and it seems quite likely that I might get a letter threatening to like a concerns notice is what comes before the defamation lawsuit. You get a concerns notice, and then I'll say off. I'll see you in court, and then kind of hope that they won't do anything after that. And if they do, then I'm not gonna not fight it.
Then you have another documentary to make, which is your time in court against Billy Mitchell.
Yeah. My conversation with Notch being like, yo, dude, can I have some money? Please?
Please. Oh, that's wild, man. That is wild stuff.
Yep.
Crazy.
Crazy.
We'll this is another random thing that I threw on the list. I don't know if you saw
the stream thing.
Yeah, at TwitchCon they announced they removed the restrictions to multi-stream.
Yeah, so I saw I opened up YouTube earlier when I was like making lunch, and I saw like the whole like little red live thing with Jesse, and I was like, oh shit. How has that been? Is it easy to do? Is it good? Is it more of a headache? Do you have multiple chats, or are there tools that make it so that it gets condensed?
Yeah, so for me, like from my end, it's a headache to like get it set up, but in the same way it was when you first downloaded OBS and you're like, what do I do? And then it's like set it and forget it once you have it working. So like, but it wasn't too bad. I downloaded a plugin, an OBS plugin that basically, because you can use like Restream. But as I understand that, you send your stream to Restream, and then Restream sends your stream to multiple places. And I didn't like that. I wanted to be able to like, I feel like there would be quality degradation doing that. And like, I don't know. So there's an OBS plugin, and like the GitHub page is like 87% in Japanese. But like,
someone must have done an English tutorial on YouTube, right?
Yeah. And so, but I downloaded it, and what it allows me to do is set an entirely separate set of settings. So I send to Twitch at 936p at 7900 bit rate, right? To YouTube, I send 1440p 60 frames per second at 25,000 bit rate. And is
it a noticeable difference in quality?
Unbelievably different.
Actually, you know what? I can probably
just pull up the VOD. Yeah. Go to my page, go to live.
Doesn't that also like clog your thing kind of too, like your feed? Or
nope. So if you go to youtube.com/JesseKazam, It's so much better now. Where like you
Live.
see where it's like home, that's where all my playlists are. Videos is just my videos. Shorts, just my shorts. Live, just my lives. So it used to be all on the homepage, twitch.tv/JesseKazan. Everything you posted, whether it was a live stream or a short or everything was there, but it's super clean now. Super clean. And yeah, go to live, click on one of the streams, pop over to where I'm in raid and make sure it's at 1440p. And it's just like, dude, Twitch could never. It's so much better.
It's hard for me to know because I'm watching this on the screen that I normally am playing.
Yeah. And you probably don't
If
watch.
anything, it's going to be worse than what I'm used to.
Watched a ton of Tarkov content on Twitch lately, which is very understandable. But it's like, dude, the number one message in my YouTube chat is like, "This looks insane." Like of course it's not perfect, right? My recordings, I record at 80,000 bit rate, and that's what I use to make my YouTube videos when I upload to YouTube, you know what I mean? But just the fact that I can upload in that much bit rate, and I'm gonna push it because I think the max is like 30 or 35 but there is no max. The recommended range is between 8 and 35 for 1440p, like depending on your internet. But like you can stream in 4K at 50 megabits per second if you have the internet for it. Like there is no cap on YouTube. So I might push it to 30. And then the other thing I might do is the other thing that YouTube accepts is AV1, which is just like a new encoding codec
or whatever.
That's much basically more efficient and better at what it does. And you can get like the Intel graphics cards that they made, where basically like here's an AV1 encoder as a graphics card. It's not for like gaming, but for like a $200 you can pick up Intel GPU, and I throw that in my streaming PC and use that to encode an AV1, and like I think I can make just insanely good looking YouTube streams. It's dope.
So, do you? I forgot what I was gonna ask. So, do you have multiple chats up?
Whoa. So that I found Airwing helps me out a lot because he's been doing this for a while. There's a it's weird how it does it, and he was saying he's on the lookout for a better solution, but it does work. It's a Chromium based browser extension. So basically what it is, it's unbelievably customizable, which is really good. So it's a browser extension, and you say like, I don't want the names to be colors. I have it. So basically what my chat is, I made it try to look as close to Twitch chat as possible, but next to that person's name, there's a tiny little YouTube logo or a tiny little Twitch logo.
But it's a combined chat.
But it's a combined chat. You have to pop out the way they make it work so that you don't accidentally pick up somebody else's chat is it has to be a popped out chat. So right as I go live, I pop out my Twitch chat and I pop out my YouTube chat. On my other monitor. No, in my other monitor, and then in OBS I have the browser source of the chat. And so literally it's in OBS and it's a combined chat. But you just on another monitor somewhere, you have to have the chats popped out, and I just minimize them or whatever. And so in OBS, the same exact size as my old Twitch chat was, I have a combined chat. Now, it's like, it's a little hard because like you sound insane when you're like answering people's questions that
aren't
they're
there
like,
for half the
yeah,
people.
Exactly. So technically in the TOS, the updated TOS, they don't want you displaying chats from another website on your Twitch stream. I doubt they're really going to enforce that, but technically they don't want you doing that. So I'm toying with a few ideas. I might create
Do you normally have chat on screen?
No, I don't like that. I don't like the chat on screen vibe.
Yeah, too much.
But what I might do is create a scene that has chat on screen when I'm in my stash or loading into a raid, and then switch from that scene when I'm in a raid. That might be like a good compromise. And then the other thing I'm thinking of doing is creating a little graphic that just says live on YouTube logo plus Twitch logo, and I put that like above my camera so that at least people are aware, you know what I mean, I've had a ton of people be like, "You quit Twitch?" because the perception is like you can't. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? A bunch of people are like, "Yo,
Yeah,
when
true.
did you quit Twitch?" And I was like, "Oh no, we're live right now." So I might like do a little graphic or something like that. But overall, it's smooth, man. It's like you have to redo all your Nightbot commands and reset up like alerts. It's like that's what's tedious and annoying. But once it's up, it's just up, and I've had no issues. On my stream PC, my CPU encodes my Twitch stream, my GPU on NVENC encodes my YouTube stream. I've had literally no hiccups, no stream hiccups. The chat's super, like it just works. It's just like a regular chat, and it's been super fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, Nightbot got a little crazy because I forgot what my settings were, and like when you start a new Nightbot, it's like as strict as it could be, and it was like
Oh,
bringing the ban hammer down on people, and so I had to like reel
every
back.
time someone's like any amount of
Dude,
profanity,
if there's 3
like,
question marks, it's like stop spamming symbols. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, maybe.
it's interesting. I think for people like us, it's the most valuable for. If you're like a new streamer and you're multi-streaming, you're gonna run into the same issues. But like people like you and I have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, and certainly a certain amount of those people aren't interested in Twitch. And so
Yeah.
like I had no idea how it was gonna go, but like I flipped it on and I had 300 people in there today on the YouTube side, and I had no idea what to expect. You know what I mean? I was like, that's sick. So it was cool. It was just like it's been fun experiment. It monetizes. You can do the memberships just like over here. You can do emotes. You run ads. What's also nice is that it auto like VODs are so much. Obviously, YouTube is a VOD site, right? So it's like it saves your VOD much higher quality because I'm streaming in much higher quality. A lot of more people are like watching those. It hits your channel with all the views it got while it was live. So like when my VOD hits my YouTube channel, it hits with 5,000 views and like 80% watch time because of the people hanging out in chat. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting experiment. I'm gonna rip it. It's fun because I like more people to talk to. You know what I mean, to hang out with. So I'm gonna rip it for like a few months and just like see what happens over the like short to midterm.
Interesting. That's actually kind of funny you say that because like obviously my I haven't been playing Tarkov, right? So like my
Yeah.
numbers are lower than what they were, but that's only because like I'm out of the Tarkov Twitch viewer mind
Yes.
share.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it like wouldn't like I very well could just have 300
Yeah.
viewers. I don't know if I will or not, right? But like
But you
I probably
could.
will have less. Yeah, I almost definitely have less actually, just because I haven't done much Tarkov content. But I feel like it would be less. I would be less affected on YouTube by the
Probably.
things that have obviously affected my Twitch.
Yeah.
That are more Twitch specific. I don't know. Could be interesting. I mean, like really, there's no. It's just whether or not I want to take the time to
Yeah.
set everything up. Which I don't know. Maybe I might do maybe at the start of the new year.
Yeah.
Or something, because this whole thing coming up in December, I feel like I have 6 weeks, 7 weeks to prepare,
Understandable,
and I'm
yeah.
like so like I don't even want to invest any thought into anything else. I'm
I
like so
understand that.
stressed.
Yeah.
And then also like this documentary too. Like I've been working day and night on this
For
fucking
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But
I
yeah,
don't know.
I mean, it's what's nice is
It's
that
free. It's free money
it's free
and exposure.
and it's always going to be there now that they took the restrictions away. So if you want to do it later, what's nice, so it's like Airwing's been the go-to guy because like 6 months ago, Airwing was like, I'm gonna start streaming on YouTube. He was like, there's no chance in hell that like anybody enforces this rule. So like, he's been multi-streaming for like 6 months, just like did not care. And so they announced it at TwitchCon, and everyone was like, "Yo, Airwing, my man, how do you do that?" So like he's got like a Discord group where he was like, I'm not gonna do this one-on-one with everybody. Here's all the information. So like if you want to know, he'd be happy to get you in there, and the chatbot he uses, the extension, the settings, like just like boom, boom, boom. He's figured it out, and so
Interesting.
relatively
Yeah,
simple.
the one thing for some reason that I like find cringy. I don't know why, it's so arbitrary and stupid, but the couple of times I've seen like a stream and I see someone is like, "Oh, I got a super chat over here on YouTube, blah 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 blah," and it's like I hate when people will like specifically,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got a question from Joe on Twitch." I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh, it just feels so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't say that. What I've been trying to do is either read the message or read the name of the person. Just so that if
Yeah.
you are keeping up with chat and you see me reading something, Like, you know what I mean? If somebody asks you a question like, what's your favorite gun? And you read that in your brain and you go, oh, the MP7. If that was somebody on YouTube asking the question, on Twitch, you're just like, he just said, oh, the MP7. And it's like, what the hell? But if I say, Mike,
apropos of nothing.
Yeah, if I say like, Mike, what's your favorite gun at Tarkov? Oh, well, I really like, at least there's some, you can be like, oh, he read a message. You know what I mean?
I mean,
people might say, what are you reading? But at least they know I'm not insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly like not the worst practice in the world anyway, considering that so many people can't stand. Like, I can't stand. If I'm watching Twitch, I don't want chat up because chat usually distracts me because they're usually saying dumb that I feel like I need to correct. So like, I don't want to don't want to have chat open because then it's like, well, I'm not working, I'm not doing anything, I'm not relaxing, I'm chatting. Yeah, you know, and I didn't come here to chat. Yeah. If anything, I came here to like ask a question of a streamer that's live. Or something, right. Like, so some people who just watch and they are full screened or whatever, and they don't have chat open. Yep. So you could say, oh, MP7, and that would, even if you were just streaming the Twitch, that makes no sense. Yeah. So I think, I don't know. It's not a bad thing to get. Either that or it's either like the people already think you're insane, or they've all been desensitized to it and just figured someone somewhere asked. Yep. And that's kind of what I'm thinking will happen. So it's been cool. I think it's a W from Twitch, and it needed some W's. It was like the only site that had multi-streaming rules. Like Kick doesn't, TikTok doesn't, YouTube never has. Like, you know what I mean? It was the only site that had it. They were paying the lowest split. Now they have their Partner Plus thing. You know, we're just kind of like a half W. And they have this, which I would consider a W. So it's one of those things. All these other potential girlfriends, they all have open relationships. Like, what the fuck? Exactly, Twitch. Come on. So I think it's cool. I'm excited to just like rip it and see how it does. And like, it feels good to be able to like engage in some of the reward for my hard work on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because like, it's always like that where you make YouTube videos and you're hoping that they cross the barrier, right? They come to Twitch to hang out, you know? And so it's just nice to be able to like it's been super awesome. The amount of people these first few days that have been like, dude, when did you start streaming here? I watch your videos all the time. It's so sick to catch you live. And I'm like, that's it. Even if I have a fifth of the viewership on YouTube forever, it's just like sick, like cool. More people getting to hang out with that enjoy the content. I love that. That's not bad, you know? So yeah. And I mean, I always feel like the pressure, and I probably will instantly get it again when I'm playing Tarkov, where it's like, if I'm not putting out highlight videos, if I'm not like double dipping with the content, I see what you mean. This almost like gives you that for free in a way. You're not going to get, I mean, honestly, like 5,000-10,000 views. It's like what I get if I were to put out a random like, so I was on Shoreline and crazy shit happened. Thumbnail, I probably get 10,000 views on that video anyway, right? Yeah. So it's like, this is just potentially like, even if it's 50 or 80% of a highlight video for free, I mean, that's still a nice chunk of ad revenue, right? That's like 30 videos a month. Yep. You know, times 5,000. I mean, that's 150,000. That's a one free 150,000 view video a month. Maybe I'll make minimum wage. Fuck yeah. So, I think it's cool. I think it's a W. I'm excited about it. So, yarp. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Well, yep. I'm staring at the giant play button on these. Oh my god. I've been wanting to hit play, but I even just like choosing a name and choosing, I was about to say, you haven't even opened the game this wipe. Last wipe you like played for like a week, but you haven't even opened the game this wipe, right? No, I haven't had the launcher installed for 6 months. Dude. All right. Well, so yeah, that's the stuff. That's the news. Arena was fun. And the other thing we didn't talk about Arena, I can't believe I didn't mention this. Jesus Christ. They're releasing it like early December. So we don't have to wait that long. Oh, okay. Is that public information? Yeah. So someone was asking me, and I'm like, I thought it was private too, and then people started tweeting it, and like, yeah. Because I asked Nikita, and he said that, and I just instantly was like, Nope, never heard. Nobody told me nothing. Nope.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I was
Nope.
the exact same boat, but then I saw like people tweeting it, and Nice Guy was putting it in his news videos, and I was like, I guess it's out there. So, oh yeah, and Toast said it on the BSG stream when he was casting. So,
Oh god,
it's out there.
he probably broke the seal on that.
It's out there. So, so I say that, I just say that from the perspective of like, we don't have to wait that long. Only a few podcasts away, we're going to be talking about like our thoughts on the first weekend. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah. So thank you guys for hanging. Apologize for the week off. It was encouraging to hear how many people were like, dude, where's the podcast? You know what I mean? Like, but we tried to get one going at TwitchCon. The schedule was insane. Vegas was so much more like harder
I missed
to
my flight,
get
so I
people
came a day
together.
late.
Yeah, Veritas came a little late. I had to leave mad early Sunday, so we didn't get it worked out. But it was nice to take a little week off. But we're back. We're also back with the PP, patreon.com/thepodcastpod. If you want more of this, one extra episode a week, early access to episodes, all sorts of stuff.
Those
Head to
episodes
Patreon.
are twice as good as these episodes. I'm just gonna flat out say it.
At least
That's where we show the feet pics.
Yeah.
That's where we showed the video of Jesse driving a tank over a car and
Yeah.
me firing a minigun.
I'm just saying.
I show Facebook photos and yeah, dick pics, all the things,
All of it.
right? Like,
Yep.
so we're just saying, if you like this, you'll like that even more.
It's like the podcast gone sexual. You know what I mean? It's the clickbait podcast over there.
Yeah, we got to figure out if us doing those streams shirtless is a problem. That might
Yeah.
be a problem.
You know, no one said anything yet, so.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for hanging. We appreciate you being here. All this will be live tomorrow for the Patreon people and Monday for everybody else. Thank you guys for being here. We will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.